Topic number one in our discussion for folks over 60 years of age about starting a business. I am 60 plus. What do I need to consider? And before I start to answer this question, I want to thank Marion Banker, MBA and business leadership coach from New York. Uh, Marion created a website community called Our Platinum Years. And because I fit into the demographic target, personally fit into the demographic target, it got my attention. I don't even remember how. I wasn't searching for it. Somehow it came to me. It doesn't matter how. We connected. And as I started to study the site and its target audience, I said, geez, it would be kind of interesting to share with that audience uh, my thoughts, my stories about starting a business. I actually started our David's Barter community uh, 3 years ago, started the development process, and I was 60 years old 3 years ago. I guess that leads right into the question, uh, what do you need to consider? And I'll share with you the things that I needed to consider, and maybe some of those are the same. If you have a specific question about your particular position, stage in life, what is going on in your life, and need some direction, need some help in terms of starting a business, please, uh, if you join our community, David's Barter community, go to davidsbarter.com. Uh, it's our homepage, our registration page. Look for the red box, register to become a member, and create a community marketing profile for yourself. 6 fields of information, complimentary, no private information. We do not require private information in our community formally. We certainly don't want the liability of hosting private information in our community. That's why we don't ask for it. There's a tremendous amount of liability if you collect personal information and there is a breach of that information. I just one of the things I had to consider as I started a business, that's not something that I wanted to really get involved in. Okay, so I think the very first thing, the very first question that you need to ask, assuming that you've gone beyond the question, do I want to start a business, is what is your purpose for starting a business? Why do you want to do it? Uh, I will share with you why I decided to do it, and maybe once again, the same uh, characteristic. You have the same situation, the same conditions. 4 or 5 years ago, when I started to plan for my Social Security, my retirement, if you will, although I never really truly believed that I was going to retire because well, I've been a small business owner my entire life, and being a small business owner, doing what I want to do, when I want to do it, how I want to do it, has always been very exciting for me, and has kept me interested in what it is, what message that I want to bring to the marketplace, what business idea, business concept could I bring to the marketplace. So I never really thought about, okay, I'm 63, 64, 65, whatever the retirement age is at that time. I actually opted for early retirement as I saw how potentially messed up the system was going to become. I wanted to get on the books and get going. And quite honestly, I looked at it as cash flow to my personal situation, just another form of cash flow. Now, it just so happens that that amount of cash flow, and I had been paying into the system for 50 years. My initial check that I got from, and I've been on Social Security now for 1 year. My initial check was a little under $1,500, and I saw as I started to plan for that, that it was not going to, I would have to change my lifestyle dramatically. My very simple, my very modest lifestyle dramatically if I depended upon my Social Security for my only means of income. So I said, I can't. Not only do I not want to retire from what it is that I love to do, how I spend my time, how I use my days, I couldn't, I would have to change my lifestyle uh, tremendously to do it. So that's when I decided, okay, well, and stepping back to any retirement funds that I had accumulated over the years they dwindled away. They went to college, of which I'm still paying a college debt for my oldest son, who's only 25 years old, and I'll be paying on that debt for a long time, unless I create enough cash flow in my new business model, David's Barter Community. If I generate anticipated cash flow, I'll be able to pay off that debt uh, sooner than time is allowing me right now. So my initial concern was that Social Security, and I had no retirement funds. They all went away. And I'm not saying that negatively. They were things that I had to do in my lifetime, decisions that I had to make. And I knew that it was going to create some additional challenges as I was at that age to think about retirement. So, point number one for me was that I needed to create a cash flow model for myself on a monthly basis that was going to supplement my Social Security payment, which now is, I think, about $1,515 per month. I think it's about that, and as I understand, there's going to be a cost of living increase come January. But whatever it is, I still need more cash flow to maintain the lifestyle that I've established for myself. And I had another very personal second reason for starting a business. Since I depleted all my retirement, didn't accumulate a lot of savings in my lifetime, I spent it all, and not frivolously spent it. It's how things went in life. I I wanted to provide if I wasn't going to leave my sons a legacy of lots of money, uh, I wanted to provide a business model for them that if they wanted to pursue that model, continue it, grow it, expand it, change it, whatever, that would be an opportunity for them in their lives. And being only 25 and 24, it is a very exciting opportunity for them. Both of my sons are very fortunate, as I am, that they've created good personal situations for themselves. They have gone against the curve of those folks who graduated in 2008 and 2009, the years that they graduated. So the the business model that I am creating that will generate cash flow for me certainly can create cash flow from them for them whenever they want to do it. And so that was another personal reason that I had for wanting to start a business at age 60. And here I am 3 years later, and absolutely don't regret the decision that I made 3 years ago. Started to make it 5 years ago, because I can honestly say that in all my years of being a small business owner, which are now over 40 years, I have never been more excited about what it is that I do, and I have never been more productive as an end result of what I do. Why would I ever want to stop doing that? So I've created a personal situation for myself, and I can say, in evaluation of the last 3 years, that every day the situation, the positioning, the branding that I do becomes stronger and better. So it was a very great decision for myself. Another thing that you want to ask yourself as you're starting a business: what is it that you want to do? Being over 60 years old, you have over 40 years of adult experience doing something, whatever it might be. So you have the experiences to really educate other folks younger than yourself or older than yourself, as the case might be. So leverage all that information and all that experience that you've accumulated in the last 40 years. That's what I'm doing. I'm actually taking everything that I have done and putting it into one great final model, business model, that I call David's Barter Community. The common thread of everything that I have done in the last 40 years is marketing and sales. Everything that I have done has been targeted towards marketing, either for myself or for other folks, and sales, either for myself or other folks. Sometimes I did it solely for myself. Sometimes I took on individual projects and did it so that not only would I benefit from it, but somebody else would benefit from it. So I've used both of those business models in my lifetime. One of the fun things that I'm really doing right now as as I have been developing this concept of a very optimized, very Googleized landing page, which creates the opportunity to very efficiently and simply start a business. I'm calling up friends, contacting with friends who I did things 20 years ago. I did things with them 20 years ago, and saying, look, here's where you are today, here's where I am today. Let's combine our efforts again, like we did 20 years ago, and create something new and exciting for ourselves. That has been a lot of fun for me. Uh, as a matter of fact, the landing page that I have created just for folks over 60 who want to start a business is being made available by two entities: the SmallBizDavid Foundation, which is my entity, obviously, and a company called Globe Life and Accident Insurance Company. I personally started doing business, marketing and sales business, with Globe Life in 1994. It was the first year that I met my friend Glenn. And today, we have renewed our business effort, our business relationship that we had from 18 years ago, since 1994. And how much fun is that? So Uh, Glenn is taking where he is in his life right now, and I'm taking where I am in my life right now, and we're combining those efforts so together we can move our lives forward. Another good reason to start a business. Look back on all those business relationships. And it might not be business in the pure sense of business, but it was in the business community somehow. Either you worked for somebody in a job for all those years, or you did it for yourself, or you did it in partnership with other folks. So you have the business experiences of all those years. Leverage the power of that to create something new and exciting for yourself. How much time do you want to spend? Uh, Very quickly after you answer that question, define very specific goals and objectives. What is it that you want to achieve? Keep it simple. At this point in your life, it does not have to be a very complex, very detailed description. The only and this is something I share with folks today who want to start a business, no matter what their age. Get that business started now. Don't worry about a very detailed business plan unless you don't have the personal resources to accomplish the business objective that you want to accomplish. If you have to leave your own personal resources and go to a bank, go to family, go to friends, whatever the case might be, they are going to ask you for a detailed business plan. They're not going to, unless they're really good friends or really good family, they're not going to just give you some money to invest in your business. They're going to want to know, why do you want the money? What are you going to do with it? How is there going to be return on investment? How am I going to see a return on my investment? That's when you need to do a detailed business plan. Quite honestly, I did not do my first detailed business plan until about 5 years ago. And it's probably a major mistake I made in my, now, a big mistake that I paid dearly for. It was probably short-sightedness on my part that I did not develop that business plan, detailed plan. And it's very easy to develop that plan. You can buy some software. I bought software 5 years ago, a software program by Palo Alto Software, Business Plan Pro, the best thing that was available. And at that time, it only cost me, I think, $99 for that software. And it takes you through the process of developing a plan. It asks you all these questions. You give the answers to those questions. You push a button at the end, and boom, you've got a business plan. I highly suggest that if you're serious about this, you go to SBA.gov, Small Business Administration, SBA.gov, and once on there in their community, search starting a business, search business plan. Actually, you probably can search starting a business over age 60, and you will get as much information as you possibly need, can absorb, and use right now. The Small Business Administration, SBA.gov, has over 4,000 pages of information. Another recommended website is IRS.gov. We all know what the IRS is, but they have great business information, not just how you have to record information of your business. For sure, that's there, that's their purpose, but there's also other great information about starting a business or businesses in general at IRS.gov. So define your specific goals and objectives, and spend some time writing out in your own longhand how you plan to achieve those goals. What are you going to do? What are the steps that you need to take to achieve that business goal and objective? It's important that you write it in your own longhand or type it. It doesn't matter, either one. Because when you do it that way and take it out of your head and put it on a piece of paper, you are thinking about what it is that you need to say. And that thought, that idea, not only will it be more powerful because you're writing it down, it is something that you can refer to, go back to, hold yourself accountable for what it is that you wrote down. So define your goals and objectives, put them in a very simple and concise manner, and how do you plan to achieve those? Take some time to. It doesn't need to be weeks. Well, it shouldn't be weeks. It doesn't. You can actually do this in a day's time if you focus on it and just stop and say, "This is what I'm going to do today." You'll be surprised that if you just get into it and start doing it, you'll amaze yourself at the results that you get. Oh, passion, persistence, and patience. I wrote those 3 P's. Those are my 3 P's. Passion, persistence, and patience. Patience. Passion. What is it that you love to do, that you want to share that with the rest of the world? What's your passion? Persistence. If it's the right thing to do, be persistent with it. Keep doing it. Fix it. Refine it. Change it. But be persistent with what your passion is. One of the comments that have been made to me, the most consistent comment that has been made to me over the years by folks that I was doing business with, by friends, is, David, you are really persistent in what you do. And my very simple answer has remained the same for 40 years. I'm persistent because it's the right thing for me to do. Passion, persistence, and the 3rd P is something that most small business owners are not successful with. It's the P of patience. Because you are starting a business and you want people to buy whatever it is that you have, your product, your service, whatever it might be, your intellectual property, people do not buy, for the most part, make snap decisions about buying. It all depends on what it costs and what it is, what they see the value is of making that investment. What's going to happen to their life when they buy it? How's it going to change? Is it going to be better? Is there going to be some return on my resource investment if I make that purchase, if I buy that product, if I buy that service? When we ask people to buy something, we are asking people to change their behavior. And people do not change behaviors often, very quickly. It takes time. It takes education. It takes patience. Okay, that's my answer to the question. I'm 60. What do I need to consider? If you have any questions about what I've just said, if you have any questions about your personal situation, the best 3 ways to get in touch with me. The best way is to join David's Barter community, create a community marketing profile for yourself, and it's something that you're going to want to do if you're going to start a business. Absolutely, you're going to want to do it. That's the way for people. That's how people are going to find you in the community, by the small business keywords that you use in your profile, the small business keywords that you use on your very optimized, very Googleized landing page. Then once you create that complimentary community profile for yourself, you'll be able to message any other person in the community. Our community does not support email going out of the community or email coming inside of our firewalls. I made the business decision. I did not want to support email. Once inside the community, the way folks will communicate with each other is the messaging system, the proprietary messaging system that we have developed. Uh, that way, the ideas, the messages you are sharing, they never leave our firewalls. So you don't have to worry about somebody else intercepting that information or the security or your privacy of that information. That's why we made the decision to communicate how we're going to do. So you can, once you create that profile, you can send SmallBizDavid a message. That's going to be the easiest way to get in touch with me. A second way is I am in the process of setting up Google Hangouts. A Google Hangout, a Google Plus Hangout, is a live, real-time interaction. So I will create a period of time for my Google Hangout. You'll figure out, and I'll show you how to get into that Hangout. Then we can have real-time interchange of information. Second way. A third way would be to send me an email. It's smallbizdavid at davidsbarter.com. Smallbizdavid, davidsbarter.com. So 3 ways to get in touch with me. This concludes this segment, and in our next segment we will talk about what is your personal situation and how does that impact your ability to start a business.